First go. Well, congratulations. Is there anybody at home or is there anybody that you want to give a shout out to?
Yes. Just one thing I want to say.
Shooting games.
It's something so great.
I gotta tell you, I like hated it. I was playing it and I was so frustrated, and I like, hey, I'm like, why is this way? Why is this so hard? Why did I get to do this quote unquote trial and error and these checkpoints? But the thing is, I could not stop playing it.
Yeah.
Every moment I had a free moment, I'm like, let me just work on this a little bit. Let me get to here. Let me get to there. But by the time I finished that game, I was just like, it was like an amnesia, like a fog lifted. And I'm like, oh my God, this is what games were like. Or at least like, this is what the relationship with games were like. It was push and pull and give and tug and back and forth. And like, you just like felt it at the end. You're like, oh my, like I played this game and I got through and I overcame something. The next one ended up being, it was Andro Dunos 2.
Crash course on how to fly the yellow cherry. Level 2 spot on. We got 1-stroke speed, digital, 8-way movement. None of this analog funny business here. You want to go slow? Make a little teeny tap. Tap, tap, tap. You got to be somewhere fast? Hope you had a plan. We got 2 shot buttons. Your regular shot and your hyper shot. Your 2 shots can be mapped to any of the face buttons. You have 4 weapons for your main shot, which also gives you 4 different hypers, 2 of which cancel bullets, 2 of which do not. Every weapon can be powered up from 1 through 7. In the normal and hard modes, taking a hit will reduce that weapon's level by 1. In the easy mode, you don't lose levels. Select between your main shots, you use the weapon selection buttons, which are hard-coded to L and R. So if you want to use an arcade stick, your layout gets the layout can be a little bit funky. If anybody can explain to me why arcade sticks are laid out the way they are, it doesn't make any kind of sense to me from any way that I look at it. So I just move the buttons around in the stick to a way that made sense to me. Take one less thing to decode what I'm playing, and it just seems very intuitive to me to have it laid out like this. So the hyper shot functions kind of like a bomb, especially that there are 2 of them will cancel bullets for you. There is a catch. Unlike bombs that usually have like a stock or some kind of resource attached to it, the hyper is pretty much an at-will weapon, but the bill does arrive in the mail. The hyper shot is a fixed length. You can't cancel out of it unless you die. Then there is a lockout phase where for a certain period of time, you cannot switch off of that weapon. After that's over, you can switch off of that weapon, but it will be level 1 until the cooldown meter finishes replenishing, the level that you were at comes back, and you can use your hyper again. Understanding the timing and rhythm of the hypers, understanding that window and where you are locked out and how you manage it is essential for high-level play in this game.
What do you struggle with the most?
It's hard to imagine that at one point, just getting to the stage 1 boss felt like a struggle, like a huge accomplishment. Just like it would be hard to imagine back then that I would be carving this game into my bones. The first thing I do is I switch my guns to the blades. And here comes the welcome party. Swarm of popcorn up top, swarm of popcorn on the bottom, swarm of popcorn on the middle. There's a seam on the panel in the background in the city that I try to line up with, and I pick up that first power up. Now big green ship's coming in. I can hear it coming. Time my hyper to start early. All this ship's options all grant points. So I catch all those points and I move up to a line in the center of the screen. Drop the 2 enemies and the power up all in one shot. And clear these little crab looking things or whatever. There's a turret on the bottom right, and I want to get that thing as soon as possible. There's also another... Yo, what is going on?
What do you struggle with the most?
What the fuck hit me?
The mental stack is a term that I heard first in fighting, like fighting game chatter. The term originated, I'm pretty sure, from Kayinworks, who does a blog and is the developer of I Want to Be the Guy. The topic of reaction speeds comes up a lot in my pet genre of fighting games, especially when talking about casual players. Commonly, they will exclaim, "I just don't have the reaction speed to play these games," which I think is a fundamental misunderstanding of how one's reactions work. The mental component, unlike the biological aspects of your reactions and reflexes, is readily and almost easily improvable. So you gotta think about it from like a new person's perspective, right? And I'd be like a beginner with an eye for it, you know, not just like I'm not seeing some person off the street. Where should I be on the screen? Are you playing like Galaga? Do you just want to be the back of the screen here? Is that a good way to play? Should I just be like hugging the back of the screen and playing like this and doing this kind of stuff? There's a lot of bullets end up on the screen when I'm back here, so I'm dodging a lot. Where should I look? Okay, let me get another S thing, and then maybe at some point you're like, oh, that's making these weapons up. Oh, I got hit by a bullet. And as an M, and now to you, what is this? Oh, cool, I got shield. What weapon should I be using? What button should I be pressing? How do people beat these games? You know who used to be really good at games? My friend Mike Ortiz. Whatever happened to him? Oh, the new player's trying to parse what's going on, what he can do, and how he's supposed to do the thing that he wants to do. And in so doing, not only fails to respond, but that your thoughts are completely out of sync with the game. You're thinking about the future, and you're reacting to the past, and you're no longer in the present.
Your
thoughts are completely out of sync with the game. Becoming a good player, becoming good at a game, is being able to manage your mind. You gotta take things off the stack. My advice to all new players is, as soon as possible, have a plan. A bad plan can be changed, modified, and adjusted. Reflex becomes this sort of space. If you just have like a plate, right? It's like how much room can be left over on the plate for the unexpected surprises. That's not gonna fuck up everything else and not gonna throw your whole shit off. You have your plan, and if it doesn't go to plan, then you react. One of my favorite bits of advice is telling people to use less buttons when they play. One of the things that I did very early on is I need to make things simpler. Like I would get lost in the weapon selection all the time, like lose my shit. I don't want to have to, you know, like switching weapons, cool, but I don't want to have to do it very often. I'm picking this weapon. Why? Because I don't have to move as much. The less I have to move, the less I get into trouble. I have 4 weapons. I don't want 4 weapons. I want 1 weapon. The game doesn't work that way. So it's like, well, what if I make it 2 weapons? Right? Now I gotta switch to the blades and do this to protect myself from the missiles. Now go back to the green weapon. So what I'm actually doing, more of like a fighting game combo, like this, 1-1. You know, like 1-2, 1-1-2. It's like rhythmic. I remove all the abstraction and I just think about it in terms of pure mechanics. Just execute your combo. I don't even think about what it is. I'll probably have to talk about this in a more technical way, because it's YouTube and everyone's a bunch of nerds on YouTube and tries to correct you about everything. You're moving it from like really language-based memory, like an abstract language memory model, to like just you're moving it into your hands. right? You're moving it into your bones. You're moving it into a place where your mind doesn't need to be there anymore. Like you're learning, you're developing, you're experimenting, and then you move it away from the thought process. Like you move it away from language into your hands, right? Into your muscle memory. Let me show you how the hot dogs are made. I'm gonna show you the sequence because I love it. Oh, I should know what the buttons are. Dead. Okay, we'll try it again. Let me just try to play this like completely in terms of like reaction. Most people end up with this as the shot. So here things are coming at me, and oh god, bullets, right? That was crazy. So you're on this weapon, and you're in the middle, and it's like, oh shit, here's this guy. Oh god, bullets, right? Maybe you'll hit somebody who goes, oh, there's more guys. Okay, what the hell's going on? And now I gotta move these guys here. Now you're really just like, oh shit, oh, this guy. Oh fuck. It's just, oh shit, oh fuck, oh fuck. Now more guys? Oh my god, I'm gonna hit a hyper. I'm panicking. I'm freaking out. Right? And let's just judge now this shit. You're probably in the same kind of thing. You know what I mean? You're probably, oh I got a shield, thank god. Right? Now let's just grade this performance. By the way, the game grades this performance. That's 1,000 points, 10,000 points. That's poor performance, right? Decent reactions, because I kind of know what's going on, so I can kind of like, at least I can get out of some situations like that. But that's like kind of what it looks like. And I think that a lot of people get intimidated by certain things where they're like, how strong can I get? Like, how strong do I have to be to lift this thing? Rather than trying to react to all this shit with some kind of like raw skill, I'm just gonna make the object lighter. I'm just gonna make the lift lighter. Sounds like an easy way to reduce it is just not deal with this. Now I'm just thinking about my position, my, like some level expectations, and look, I don't gotta deal with any shit. It's easy. I made this easy. Anybody can do what I just did. You just have got to figure it out. You know what I mean? It's like the motions aren't difficult. The reactions aren't difficult. Everything's telling you where it's got to be, when it's got to be, where it's got to be. It's, you know what I mean? Like it's and like the score is better. Everything's better. It's like you just make the object lighter. So how do shmup players reduce their mental stack? That's called routing.
The Shmup's wiki defines routing as putting together the sections of a shmup that you've mastered into a continuous strategy, like an outline or plan for how to solve each area. Ideally, you'll have a route for the entire game, and will only deviate from said route and improvise if something unexpected happens. This way, you'll be composed while playing, and have a plan for whatever the game throws at you, to the point where you can do things subconsciously. Developing a route is the product of practice. When you start to hear words like strategy, outline, plan, solve, practice, it starts to sound a lot like homework. But routing is a creative process, like dancing, except you're also the choreographer. Some spark inspires a vision in your mind. You look at the stage and you look at the talent before you, and you start to craft a work with which to perform. This approach to gaming is like an alchemical pot of imagination, creativity, memory, and play. Putting in what's ostensibly subtle hand motions in some particular order, and out comes solid gold.
Gotta get the groove. It's actually better when you sing. It's true. It's a fact. You're getting this here. Bam. All right, let's try this. Oh, clean. Okay, now this part kind of sucks. I get like tapped on my way through it. What a mess. Yeah, this is not gonna be consistent. Fuck these guys. This has never been a problem for me until this run. Ah, shit. All right, that's not gonna work. Yeah, I don't know if you picked these up. Ooh. I'm really just trying to figure out this one part. I'm like, how do I get the bonus on those big tank, like a mechs with the chicken legs and a gun on the head. How do I get those points in and out clean? Dude, he's tough. You got a lot of meat. It's your mash. This is probably fucking dumb too. Dumb. Not gonna work. God, is it gonna be something like that? That's so nasty. Yeah, this is no good. Maybe actually, you know what? Maybe this is good. Smoke. Nope, no good. Nope. No. Stop doing that. Not clean. Ooh, not clean. That asshole. Yeah, you gotta be backed up. Oh, look at that. This is probably how every game works in a sense. You gotta think in like multiple dimensions about shit. And then you gotta be able to be in that phase. So like I'm in the like sort of like cavalier fucking around in the future phase, and then someone else is gonna have to figure out how to make it work. I'm sort of like the guy who's I'm sort of like the guy, like the Taco Bell chef who figured out like the chalupa. You know what I mean? I'm at the top. I'm the guy. I got my hair sticking out. Like, why doesn't Chef Spiders wear a chef hat? And it's like, just let him cook, man. Let him cook. And I'm coming up with like, yo, check this out, 7-layer chalupa. And they're like, how do we get that into the stores? And you're like, not my problem. Figure it out. Not my problem. Now, like, trying to train the person who is you doing it wrong like this, who's kind of like this. What am I doing? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, can you do this? And you're like, I guess. I've been told I can by other versions of me who have done it, but we'll see. I think I'll be fine with this actually. You prick.
Hello everyone, welcome to my 1cc commentary and gameplay guide for those looking to get the clear of Andro Dunos 2, a game that has been getting a lot of attention recently, and for good reason. I think it is an excellent shmup. Initially when I set out to get the clear, I figured it would take me probably a day or two. As most sort of modern indie shmups, it doesn't take me too long to get the arcade difficulty clear. But to my surprise, it actually took me 3 or 4 days of practice and about 22 hours in total to finally get that clear.
That's why I think it's interesting to make the comparison. Mark is a known quantity. We know he's a skilled player. And he says a few days, 22 hours. So this playthrough is at 60 hours. So that's 3 times as fast as I was able to do it. Plus I went to the easy mode first and cleared that. So because of that skill gap, we're approaching the game differently. Is using the back shot here, and then these guys drift off. Like, that's a mistake. I don't want to deal with any of these bullets. I would get smacked by them all the time. I guess, like, no problem with that. And I don't have a problem, like now I don't have a problem with it. I don't go like that. I don't get tagged in that pattern. Like, I could see it now. But then it was like, you may as well have been throwing a box of nails at me. Something about the numbers is interesting. Like, what's like the tail of the tape? 22 hours to 60 hours. I think it's a really good, like, metric for skill. Like what Mark calls legacy skill. to come into that and say that I can beat this 3 times as fast. Imagine you come into this like enterprise with so much legacy skill that not only you're getting through it in 22 hours in 3 days, which to me is very fast, but that you can also not even understand some of the mechanics and things that are going on that the game considers to be like essential.
The way the difficulty curve of the game works, and also because I wasn't fully aware of some of the gameplay mechanics that end up being kind of crucial to getting the 1cc.
That's crazy as hell to me. Like that kind of stuff? No way. I'm not doing this. This kind of nonsense? Fuck all that. Here's to avoid stray bullets. He lets them all go. He don't care. I hear it. Because of the fact that Mark can skill his way through that section, then he doesn't have to route it. Because he can get through with less, he doesn't have to know more about the game. If people don't have confidence in their skills, is that you don't need it. Not only do you not need it, but you can use it to your advantage. Where there's going to be places where there's going to be places where good players just don't rub up against it. They just don't have the trouble. If they don't have the trouble, they're not seeing it that much.
I could, with the highest degree of accuracy, tell you how to get from anywhere to anywhere else in Dark Souls as if it's a place I've actually been. I know that game as well as I've known houses that I've lived in. I know that game as well as any place on Earth that I have inhabited for any period of time. And the reason why that is the difficulty. The difficulty caused me to make a map of that game in my head that is so accurate and so like developed and packed with meaning. And like I don't even think I'm actually good. I don't think I'm very good at these games. Like I don't try to beat him with a dance pad or nothing. But I find that my playthroughs take a lot longer than like the average.
So the other number that I think is interesting is the score. So the machine doesn't care how long you've played it. What that number says is that I was able to beat his score, but I think, let me cheat real quick. It's 21.38, 545%. I can't even remember the number from looking here to there. So by 21.5398781 by 21.385453987816%, the game thinks that I'm better. I'm not high, you're high. So what's in the gap between these two things? What can we know? What is the comparison here? I have no knowledge of the game, but the skill coming in, the game rates that conceptual approach lower. So I wonder if, I don't know if it's just me, like hearing the term memory or memorizer always seems to come off as like derogatory, like a knock against the game. Is it because skilled players are seeing it as a completely different thing? Are they valuing their like more reflexive skill and don't want to be bothered to learn another game? So it's like, oh, I have to memorize this game, as if to say that my skills are being devalued and my game knowledge is being overvalued.
The fact that he just drops downward like that, unless you know he's going to do it, that's going to catch you. There's all kinds of stuff like that. I do like this little mini map that they pull up. That's a really nice touch. I don't know if other shmups have done that. I assume they have. It reminds me of like, I think there's a Sonic stage that does something like that, where even the first time playing, you know where the walls are going to appear and everything. I think that's a really smart idea. So I really appreciated that. I think more shmups, when they have that sort of thing, should try to give you a little bit of a forewarning to what's coming up ahead, rather than just punishing you purely through memorization. But here we go, like these guys spawning behind you.
That's what I mean. It's like you're being punished to memorize something. All right, check this shit out, right? First glance, you're like, so if you're going to devalue that like legacy skill, the level of skill coming in, if a developer is going to put traps in his game to make sure that you have to memorize at least something, so how is that not committing the same sin that a Euro shmup does, or your shmup will mitigate a skill coming in with design choices. Just take it as it is. I don't want to hear it. So I think there you really have to believe that memory isn't a skill. That memorization in shmups is like memorizing the multiple choice correct answers of like a math test or something. I don't think memory should be a dirty word. Memorizing things is cool. Something like loaded in the way that we use the word is making memory and memorizing things sound like some kind of like irritating burden that we have to do, or like some kind of like inefficiency that's like better left to do something else. So we start to do it a disservice. But remember, it's not an it, it's an us. So we're doing ourselves a disservice, and it's just one of many other things that we've found a way to call antiquated for the sake of convenience or sense of power or whatever, but we're losing something about ourselves in it. We like outsourced something else about us to like technology. And I think that what we're kind of learning in this like hyper technical generation is that some of those things were important. They had another value. People say stuff like, they're like, I think, therefore I am. Well, have you ever thought, dude, when I think, it's just a constant stream of annoying bullshit. That's what I think. I think you remember, therefore you am. Like, you remember who you are. And sometimes you forget who you are.
It was like an amnesia, like a fog lifted. And I'm like, oh my God. This sounds so lame. But like, maybe like through shmups and through gaming, we can like reconnect with this part of ourselves, reconnect with this thing that's so essential to who we are. Playing a shmup can do is it can reconnect you with who you are.
So it's after the things come down. When is it? And it's funny because like you're watching it and I'm watching it. So for me to say when is it sounds kind of stupid, right? But like it's not when is it in the game, it's when is it in my route. So like whatever you're looking at on the screen, like that's not what I'm like I'm seeing something else. Like the landmarks and the signposts and like it is I'm somewhere else.
I will soar then, beyond this power of my nature also, still rising by degrees towards him who made me. And I enter the fields and spacious halls of memory, where are stored as treasures the countless images that have been brought into them from all manner of things by the senses. There, in memory, is likewise stored what we ponder and plan by enlarging or reducing our perceptions, altering those things which the senses have made contact with, and everything else that has been entrusted to it and stored, which oblivion has not yet swallowed up and buried. at this point, I didn't love my odds, but I didn't hate them either. I made some pretty bad mistakes on stage 7, and that left a lot of points on the table. But at the same time, I got the score that I wanted to, and it was just a matter of just polishing it off. And it must have been like a perfect 50-50, because I felt really balanced. It felt like, I guess, the bliss of like a thing, like an object being put right where it belongs. Whatever these like energies and desires and emotions that like have me playing games in the first place, like they had a place to go. It reminded me of the conversation that I had with Dace.
Leading up to that moment, all the time put into practice, in my mind, I have already cleared it. So clearing it doesn't change anything at all. And at the same time, I recognize that clearing expert mode for the first time is only the beginning of my journey. It's a never-ending thing. You can always do something more. You can always learn something more. So when I cleared it, it was like, well, nothing has changed, and I'm still a part of this game. I'm still a part of this experience. So, like, it just is the way.
You'll do it despite rejection and the worst odds. And it will be better than anything else you can imagine. You'll be alone with the gods, and the nights will flame with fire. Do it, do it, do it. All the way. Going to try. Go all the way. Do it, do it. Going to try. Go all the way. All the way. There's no other feeling like that.